sweat of their labor, toils of the brave, which has brought results. Toils of the brave and the sweat of their labor, toils of the brave, which has brought results. Everybody, toils of the brave and the sweat of their labor, toils of the brave, which has brought results. Toils of the brave and the sweat of their labor, toils of the brave, which has brought results. Hey! Of their labor, toils of the brave, which has brought results. Toils of the brave and the sweat of their labor, toils of the brave, which has brought results. Everybody, toils of the brave and the sweat of their labor, toils of the brave, which has brought results. Toils of the brave and the sweat of their labor, toils of the brave, which has brought results. Hey! Of their labor, toils of the brave, which has brought results. Toils of the brave and the sweat of their labor, toils of the brave, which has brought results. Everybody, toils of the brave and the sweat of their labor, toils of the brave, which has brought results. Toils of the brave and the sweat of their labor, toils of the brave, which has brought results. Hey! Of their labor, toils of the brave, which has brought results. Toils of the brave and the sweat of their labor, toils of the brave, which has brought results. Everybody, toils of the brave and the sweat of their labor, toils of the brave, which has brought results. Toils of the brave and the sweat of their labor, toils of the brave, which has brought results. Hey! sweat of their labor, toils of the brave, which has brought results. Toils of the brave and the sweat of their labor, toils of the brave, which has brought results. Everybody, toils of the brave and
broadcast by Homeland Ghana, which we speak about our nation Ghana as things that God have spoken and revealed to us. And by the grace of God, we have been doing this since 2008, speaking about Ghana and the prophetic revelations God gave us about our nation. Before I continue, I want to encourage you to share the broadcast, invite others to join us, because we are serious matters to talk about our nation. And God bless you for making time to join me this hour and this moment. This live broadcast is focused on our nation. And before I continue, as you share the broadcast and power tap the screen, by the grace of God, we are almost through in putting up things in our studios. So you can watch us. We are live in all our platforms today. You can watch us on Facebook. You can watch us on YouTube, on our major platforms. G1 TV broadcast. G1 TV broadcast. So before we go to the substantial issue this morning, on this hour, on our nation Ghana, I want to encourage you, share the broadcast, invite other people to join us. And I believe that your life and my life will not be the same, and the nation's life will never be the same. Now, a day ago, I did a live on TikTok because I received an urgent message, as I always do, concerning the nation, Ghana. And the video was edited and was posted because the message to the nation and the president is what it was important to deliver. Within a day, the post has reached about, on TikTok, it has reached about 120,000 views within a day. And I will say that this view is larger than even when I started speaking about the nation, the elections, and things that should happen, and all came to pass, not as we want to prophesy for it to come to pass. But the broadcast, my Homeland Ghana, is a broadcast I do many years now. When I started on that, TikTok was not on the scene. I started that since 2008. Just to give you a little background before I go into what I'm about to talk about today. So what we do, and I do that under my broadcast, Divine Update. And those who have followed me on our page on Facebook, because it was Facebook then that was leading, and that's where I do my broadcast, Divine Update. And so I speak about the nation, etc. So by the comments and the responses we are getting from as a feedback from 2 days today's broadcast on the nation, as sending the prophetic revelation that I receive as a warning to our sitting president. By the responses and the comments that came, we are live today to do few clarification, not because it affects us, because many of the people were really insult on me, and that I don't care. Many were saying unreasonable things, including men of God, And that is not strange to me because I've experienced that thing for many years. For these 35 years of doing the work of God, I've experienced that many times. So that it doesn't even move me. But the follow-up today under the broadcast, my Homeland Ghana, is to bring some clarifications because the focus of the broadcast is for the good of our nation, Ghana. It's for the good of the president, the sitting president, John Dramani Mahama. And so I'll be going into few explanations so that all the gullible men of God who don't know how to wait on God when they hear something, but want to rely on their emotions and feelings to be attacking when they hear something, they will learn and do the right thing. Because when it comes to nation building, it's not about emotions. It's about following the instructions of God as Ghana is concerned. So I'll be going into that very soon. But just to clear the airwaves on some few comments and questions that most of my followers and those who are not my followers have asked. I want to give answers to those ones. Then I give the explanation why the 2 days today's broadcast. The first of all is that many were making the comment or asking the question that if it is a prophecy I receive, why am I reading it? And to those questions, I believe those making those questions or comment, they think they are speaking intelligence and they are speaking wisdom. But to be charitable towards them, I'll let it slide and go directly to the answer. Even your president, John Dramani Mahama, and national leaders, when they are going to deliver a message, neither they use the teleprompter, which today is so developed that it's a clear screen, that it is positioned in a way that you don't see with your eyes. And so you think they are miming or they are memorized and saying. And recently at the UN Assembly, our president did that so nicely. And many people were posting, and even other nations, nationals were saying that our president is so intelligent that he is able to say all this in off head. But actually, he was not speaking off head. He was reading from a teleprompter. When you receive a message before a set date of delivery, in order for you not to forget it, two major ways you do, and those who study journalism will attest to that, because I have a background in media studies. Either you record the message by voice or you write it, you pen it down, you make a journal of it, so that you will not forget the substantial points and deliver it right. So those who are asking that question, and you think you are asking an intelligent question, the message I delivered 2 days ago concerning the nation was a message I received earlier. So in order not to forget it, I had to pen it down so that I will not forget the message. And those who want to be theological astute, you understand that all the prophecies that you read, either in Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, all the prophecies, whether the major and the minor, if they were not recorded, you won't get it to read. So when I read the message, first of all, it's not an error. It is the right thing to do. So I was not reading because I received one of the funny comments says that, did you receive the message as a letter? So I was reading it simply because I wrote it down when I received the message. And in order not to miss words, I read what I wrote down as I received as a message. Number two, those who followed me on my live broadcast, you know, usually I receive messages when I'm live. and maybe you are praying. I receive the message, I deliver it directly. But in this one, I receive it before, and we're meditating through it before we do the presentation. So those of you who are asking the question that why am I reading? I am reading because I wrote them down when I received the message, and I received them before the day of the broadcast. So please, those who ask the question, it was not an intelligent question you are asking. When people want to be mischievous, they find problem with everything that you do. Number two, there are some who was also insulting and asking the question, I should leave the president alone to do his work, that I'm giving the president pressure. And in addition, they did mention that, where were I? And they also alluded to other men of God, that where were we when President Akufo-Addo was in power the past 8 years, that were silent. Let me disappoint those also who make those comments. I've never been silent when it comes to the nation. But as I explained earlier, my broadcast was predominantly on Facebook before TikTok started. So during the time of Akufo-Addo, I spoke very much. I said a lot. And if the president Akufo-Addo and his team could have listened, what happened in their regime could not have happened. Because I remember very well the mess up of Kenofuriata. God revealed it. I spoke about it before even their parliamentarians revolted in parliament calling for the step down of Kenofuriata. I spoke about that. God revealed it. I spoke about it. There were many things that we touch on as God revealed. Those who really care for the truth and not because you want to be mischievous, you can go to my Facebook page, Jiwonu TV broadcast. Then it was under my name, Apostle Chris Levi Jiwonu. But because we want to synchronize all our pages, our social media pages, we turn all the names into our online TV broadcast name. That is Jiwonu TV broadcast. And then those broadcasts, I was doing it under the dub name, that is Divine Update. So before Mahama will return, and during the time of Akufo-Addo, indeed we spoke a lot. Even during that time, I remember most of the messages, even Baumia losing the election, that he doesn't have the chance to stand. When he stand as a presidential candidate for MPP, they are going to experience the works percentage. All those information are there. Please, you can go and check it. Media don't lie, or video don't lie, audio don't lie. Yet today they can be dotted, but all what I'm telling you is there. So we spoke during the time of President Akufo-Addo. Everything that could happen under them, we spoke about it. Even concerning COVID, we spoke about it. Everything that God concerning the nation Ghana, we spoke about it. We reveal it, and each one of them did happen as the Lord revealed. Now, all those things that I spoke earlier, I did not speak because I want to be popular. It is because it's an assignment that I had since the year 2008. And those who follow me from the beginning, you can see some of those short videos even on our TikTok account, as I explained from the beginning why I keep talking about the nation, President Mahama, and the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service. I gave a detailed broadcast on that. Okay, so the last point before I go to the substantial issue this morning, and you must be interested in what I'm saying, because everything I'm about to say, it concerns you, it concerns the nation, it concerns the progress of our nation. Now, there are men of God also that make certain comments, and some says that the Spirit of God that is in them is telling them that the things I was saying is a lie and I'm not speaking the truth. Well, to those men of God, I bet you no grudge at all. But the conclusion I would draw, because most of you who spoke, half of the years I've been in ministry is older than you. There were youths who were also using foul languages like kwasia, aboa, all those talks. And because of the message of God, and I believe in the truth of the word of God, and that is, last time a man of God was with me, and one was saying something that if it could have been like the old days, that God instantly bring judgment on people when people insult or attack the things of God, it could have been good. And I was telling them that no man of God is too important than a child of God. In fact, because of the children of God, that's what God called men of God. So God will not kill his children or punish them because they are speaking against his servant. And before our Lord Jesus will leave, he told us plainly, with those we have called, and he said that where I am honored, you shall be honored. And when I am dishonored, you shall be dishonored. So my fellow men of God who also do those things, actually, your comment means nothing to me. You can join people to insult me. I don't care, because I'm not working for you. Then some ask the question that, where did you hear from God? To the knowledge I have about the word of God, every single prophet in the Bible, before God sent them, he doesn't hold a roundtable discussion and discuss with the nations and the people and tell them this is what I want to send my servant to come and deliver. Do you people agree or you don't agree? The Bible I've read, there is nothing like that in it. When God wants to send anyone, he's the one who decides who he wants to send. He doesn't hold stakeholders meeting for verification before he sends. So the men of God and also my fellow citizens that are fan of, and the politicians that are fan of making those comments, actually it is not an intelligent comment at all. It is a comment of naivety and ignorance, because God does not work that way. God does not consult anybody when he want to do something or want to send a servant. As it stands today, that we're practicing the doctrine of spiritual fatherhood, that some of the spiritual fathers, as they call them, think that if God will say something, he has to consult and confirm to them before God sends any other prophet or servant to come and say whatever he need to say. That also is not written anywhere of our Bible. So most of the castigations that you are bringing does not hold water at all. It's just a sign of ignorance that many are expressing. And we are in a nation, Ghana is a secular nation. We all have the right to express an opinion, even though that our expression is supposed to be done in decorum. Our speeches need to be seasoned with salt. But it is not strange at all when today people insult men of God, including other men of God, calling others their false prophets. It's not strange. It has happened since the days of the Bible, before our Lord Jesus came. This is not my main delivery. I'm clearing some things, comment that came after we did the broadcast the last time about the warning to the president. And I'm coming to touch on that predominantly, but I want to clear the way so that we can have a clear conscience in understanding. Some also asked the question that it has been established in the presidency that there is a department that has been established that when you have a vision or prophecy, you can go and deliver to them. And they have a website and account. And that very day, I think Mama Ya called my attention that there was a lady who was calling my attention to something. And I also grooming the message I was delivering. So I did not saw that message. And if that lady, you are watching me today, I'm sorry. It wasn't intentional, but my mind was not on anything. My mind was the message which I was delivering. Now, to those also who uh, says that a department has been created and we are supposed to do that delivery, and there was someone who added that I can be arrested or I should be arrested by the messages I delivered. Trust me, I'll be so happy for them to come and arrest me, because that will give me the opportunity to expose most of these people. Yeah. I don't fear anything. I respect authority. I respect everybody. But me, I fear nothing. Death comes to everybody. The past apostles were killed because of the truth of the gospel. And what I'm doing is an assignment God gave me. I respect every authority. If I don't, I'm not following the Bible. Romans 13 explained to us, every governing authority is set by God. Not government. The governing authority is set by God. So God indeed set government. And as an authority also in the Lord, we respect each other. Okay, so I respect authorities. So by this that a department will be set there, for me, individually, I'm not speaking out of disrespect. Before I come to the substantial matter, I'm cleaning things. I will never step there to deliver any message to that department, not as a disrespect to the president, but as a revolt, because the men who set up that institution are the very people who are responsible for the wrong that is going on. This is not allegation, that is the truth. Wait, when I now go to the substantial matter, you will now understand. So I will not take a step to go and say I'm going to talk to somebody or the people who are nation rakers and breakers, and I'm choosing my word right. And I'm not afraid when they come after me, because it's going to give me opportunity for me to expose them more, because they know what I'm saying is true. So I am not going, and I'm explaining because you, my fellow Ghanaians, need to understand. Not because I'm afraid of anything, but what I am doing is for the benefit of our nation. It's for the benefit of the sitting president, John Dramani Mahama, because there are truths for now he knows, but he's not paying attention to. So it's not that I don't know an institution or a department has been created. I know. But before the institution was created, you may not know, but I know, it was a trap that was set for me in order to rubbish the truth that I kept speaking about the nation and the wrong that they did, in order to silence me from coming out with all this truth, so that they can kill the truth. The people there, that was the agenda. Before they set the institution, God have already revealed it to me, and I know. And those who know me knows what I'm telling, because we had a discussion before they set up the institution or the department there. So if I'm not going there, it is not because I don't know. I really know. On the very day that even they came out with a name and that department, I came live. I think that very day when I saw it, because somebody called my attention to it. And on that day, I was very furious and say, look at these hypocrites. I'm not insulting. That is the reality. Look at these hypocrites. After messing things up, you now go and set up an institution or a department to do damage control. Instead of going to the president and confess the truth to the president, they refused to do that. But rather, they schemed and sat together in a way to do damage control. That's why they went and set up that institution or that department at the presidency. So it's not that I don't know, I really know. I really, really know. And not as a way of disrespect to the president, but as a way of protecting the president. Because I know truth that the president don't know about those people. And they know I know. Because they all know me. Because we work together. Because of the love of the nation, I will not act in hypocrisy that the importance and how our nation should be built should be hijacked by these people. That'll be the last thing I would do. You may not see me as important, but the one who sends me knows I'm important for him. I'm not doing this. My time is quickly going. Let me now go to the last point. There's someone asking the question that, was I paid by the MPP political party to come out with this broadcast? To those people, I humbly ask you, go to all my broadcasts and watch them. Then you find answers to your question. Now let me go to the main reason why I'm live. The message I delivered the last time, that is concerning the warning to the president, John Dramani Mahama, about going back to do the right thing. It is not an attack on the president at all, but it will save the president, the family, and all. Of course, no matter what you say, mischievous people will still twist things, but that is not my concern. My concern is that many Ghanaians will know the truth so that together we can help the President Mahama to do what needs to be done for our nation to come to the place of glory and honor that God wants the nation to be. I was given a role to play by my Father in heaven before Mahama became, before the campaign and during the time of the campaign. So now let me now go to the substantial matter. This is the truth. President Mahama did not win the election because of the sole work of his political party. Not at all. There are things that happen behind the scene. And number one reason why, and I'm not claiming anything, I'm telling you the truth. Number one reason why the president won the election, and you heard him say that he winning the election, he can testify that there is a divine hand. And this was the divine hand. This is how it took place. During the time of the campaign, the Lord instructed me to go back to tell the president, then the candidate, Mahama, that the reason why he was kicked out of governance in the second year or term of President Mills was because he wrongfully broke a covenant over the nation. That is the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service. Many people misunderstood it and still misunderstand. When we mention it, it is not a service. Or let me put it, it is not a church service. That service is just a seal of a covenant. And that covenant have to do with the rebuilding of the foundation of our nation, Ghana. So God started with President Mills. I happen to be the servant of God who delivered the message to President Mills and hand over that which God said he is about to do from 2008. I delivered the message to him. When President Mahama took over, he did not have understanding because President Mills was taken away before we say Jack. May his soul rest in perfect peace. So this truth, President Mahama did not have it at that time when he took over President Mills' term. So when he was doing away with the covenant seal, the national prayer and thanksgiving service, again, it is not a church service. It was a covenant seal. What was that covenant? God planned and had a plan over the nation that he would want to reset the foundation of our nation because things has gone wrong since the time of the overthrowing of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, our first president. That the nation's foundation need to be reset so that the blessing of God and how the nation is supposed to move forward will move forward properly. So through President Mills, God entered that covenant with the nation. It's supposed to be continued and things being enacted properly. But President Mills was not alive to do things as it's supposed to be done. So there was a slagging there. And President Mahama coming to power never understood what the whole thing was about. Laid aside that covenant seal, the national prayer and thanksgiving service. During the time he did so, I received instruction from God, I and my team, many times to go to the Jubilee House, to call his attention to it. And usually you submit a letter and for them to give you an invitation or book an appointment before you can see the president. That I was denied many times because as it is today, that many of these politicians think that when you are not a notable man of God, that is to their understanding, you don't have a big church and people don't know you, to their understanding, they don't give you audience. But many of the people that they give audience, by the grace of God in the work of ministry, we have been there before them. But our assignment is so different that we are not a church people. We are missionaries. So during that time, we did everything to call President Mahama's attention to it, but they did not listen. The next election, which stood with Akufo-Addo, that President Akufo-Addo respectfully won the elections. During that time was when I started again, because by divine instruction, I was calling the attention of the president, then candidate Mahama, to understand that because you broke a covenant, that is why you were kicked out of power, and that is still hanging on your neck. And all these things I'm saying, please, you can verify them on our page, Jiwanu TV broadcast, on Facebook and YouTube. All the broadcasts are there. They were live. During that time, most of the NDC executives, which I know, and those who were President Mahama's faithfuls or boys, they keep contacting me behind closed doors to get the information and share with him. I was not sent to them. And I know how those things are done. So I did not give them those information. But I did them on my broadcast, Divine Update. I'm not a social media content creator. I've been broadcasting on media many years ago, after 2008. It's today that TikTok is here. Then people now like TikTok the more. But everything I'm telling you, please, you can verify on my broadcast, my online broadcast pages, Jiwanu TV broadcast. From that time, they never had heard. And that time that President Mahama was supposed to stand, that is the time Akufo-Addo won the election. God revealed, and I did told President Mahama, his people, that there is a window of time that if President Mahama don't restore, in opposition don't restore the covenant seal, that the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service, before he comes to power, he's not going to win the election. They never listened. And that happened. He lost the election. Then fast forward, now that he was coming back to power in the 2024 elections, the Lord instructed me again, I should go back and talk to him. So I did so. Now, I did say that he did not win the election because of solely the campaign or the campaigning of his people or his team. He winning the election was based on the covenant restoration. The instruction then was that, I'm talking about 2024 election. The instruction was that in opposition, he is to restore or made a vow that when he returns, he will restore the national prayer and thanksgiving service, the seal over the promise of God of resetting the foundation of the nation. That because of this disobedience or breaking the covenant over the nation's foundation is open to all kinds of attacks. That is the reason why Ghana were facing all kinds of challenges. So try as I may, I finally lay hand on, and I'm going to mention names and not to put anybody in problem, but to authenticate what I am saying. So I got in touch with his now scribe, Dr. Callistus Mahama. And I spoke to him. I delivered the message to him. Then the man who is managing the department that is created at the presidency, that the department that they say they should go and deliver messages, prophetic messages to them. He also, they did not even believe when I was delivering the message to them and the step that was supposed to be taken. So, on the campaign train, before the campaign started, President Mahama went to Ho. Then the one who is leading the department at the presidency now, we were in communication then. And they told me, Apostle, the president has obeyed to restore the covenant seal that was broken. So they asked me to go and watch the broadcast. So when I watch it, I called them back and told them, please listen very carefully. I am not doing this for myself. I'm doing it for the nation because it was an assignment. I had the assignment, and I'm the one who have the assignment. Not any bishop in Ghana, not any other prophet. It is an assignment. And I owe it to the nation and obedience to my Father in heaven. So they asked me to watch the broadcast. I went and watched, and I told them, no, that was not the instruction. He got it wrong. Then a promise was made that, and that was the time he was going to hold a meeting with the clergy, where they said Mahama meet the clergy, that they are going to make sure that he will do the right thing as said. So on that day, you could remember the first item that he alluded to was that when he comes, there will be a national day of prayer and thanksgiving service. It wasn't a campaign promise. It was an instruction God gave. That if he doesn't do that, he will not win the election. Because it is that which is speaking against him. And in explanation, I told them. And so, on that day, the president did make mention of that. And even though that it is not exactly the instruction, he alluded. That also, they sent me the link that I should watch as the program was going on. I watched, and that he got it almost about 85% of the instruction. Respectfully. So, that was documents that contains the information about the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service and the resetting of the foundation. And to your information, not as a brag, the term the resetting of the foundation of Ghana or the resetting Ghana was not started used by President. It's not President President Mahama who started using it. It was a term that God gave me concerning the restoration that I started speaking on before the president began to say them. All the evidences are there. Go and check our page. I'm not saying this thing to hype my name, not at all. I'm saying it to explain to you that what I am doing is not against the president or the nation, but it's for the nation to come to do the right thing, because the nation and the president have been misled. I spoke about it earlier. And by divine way, this morning, I've been given the way by my father to speak about it as clarification. So, when now the president alluded to that, I now explain to them further that there are other things or information that the president need to know, but that information is not for their hearing. It is only for the hearing of the president. So I cannot share that information with them, because that information I can only give it to the president. A lot of things happen behind the scene, which I would not like to put in the public domain. Then finally, when the president now won the election, so the president won the election because he accepted to restore the covenant as God entered over the nation. So that is what paved the way for the president to win the election. It wasn't because of campaign strategies that they implemented. To refresh your memory a little, do you remember that MPP was in a shock when they lose the election? Why were they in a shock? They were in a shock because during the time of campaign and before then, almost like all the prophets are speaking that Baumia respectfully win the election. They were on TV, they were on radio, and they were speaking. And then there was no prophet of God. There was no prophet. Let me not say prophet of God. There was no prophet then. I'm talking about during the time of the campaign. Was speaking for Mahama. No man of God were bold enough to come out to speak for President Mahama that he win the election. All of them were quiet. Because it was my assignment, I'm not blowing my horn. I'm just giving you details so that instead of standing against me and insult me, we work together and help the president for the right thing to be done, so that where we need to be and things that are yet to happen will happen the way, so that Ghana will come to that place of glory. So, because it was an assignment to me, another time I went to the office, his campaign office then, led by his chief administrator, Dr. Callistus Mahama. And I went and told him that, Doc, I've delivered a message to you, but I am sent for the president and for the election so that the will of God will be done. So I am ready to lay down my ministry and my honor to go to the radio stations and TV stations to speak and tell Ghanaians that they need to vote for Mahama, because Mahama was being brought back for a reason. That they should not look it as a campaign message. And I did so. I went to radio stations, I went to TV stations, I went to the famous spiritual broadcast by Mami Grace called Revelation. You can find all those evidences there. And I was the only man of God that was boldly speaking. And during that time, on the program of Mami Grace, she said something. He said, Apostle, don't you think that you are putting your ministry at risk? Because these things you are saying, if it doesn't happen, it will affect your ministry. And I said, it will happen. Nothing will change. And so I did, because it was a divine assignment I received. So I continue. And that time, the NDC following that are in the diaspora, and that was the time I started organizing prayer, online prayer for President Mahama, and he winning the elections. You can verify all these things. Is on my page. And I was the only man of God who was raising prayer for President Mahama. Live, not behind closed doors. Because I knew that he's supposed to be, because God was giving a second chance because of the restoration of the foundation of our nation. In doing so, the Finland group, one of the executive, gave me numbers of some of the executive here in Ghana to contact them. So I made the effort to contact the following people. This is very serious. So this time I'm going to mention names. Not because it's an attack, but it's so that we do the right thing. So that you, those who don't understand what is going on, and you want to quote Bible with a lack of understanding, you'll be patient with yourselves. So during that time, I made the effort to contact some of the executive of the NDC political party. I tried to contact Julius Debra, the current chief of staff. I even contacted our sitting vice president. And all of them told me that the man which they gave to handle these things, that the things of prophecy and all those things, is Honorable Evisefria Ankara. So I should go and speak to Evisefria Ankara about that which I'm talking about. But already, I was dealing with Callistus Mahama, and I was dealing with Evisefria Ankara already. They never knew that I was dealing with them already. I believe in an oath of secrecy that time. This time, the case is serious. So I need to say things so that you know I am not lying. I know what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying these things as a mischief against anybody, but for our nation to come to that place of glory. If they could have done the right thing, I don't think that I would do this. Before I continue, those who say that, why don't I go and talk to the president directly? Please. I know you have not followed me, but hear it again. We did everything possible after speaking to Dr. Callistus Mahama and all of them, that the rest of the information that it is for the president alone to hear, because they are sensitive matters and it's only the president that is to handle that matter. Then they begin to shut the door against me because now they won the election. So all the people I knew who are President Mahama's close friends, which are contacted, 2 of them are chiefs, I'm not going to put their name on. They all promised to make sure that I meet the president, then I deliver the message to him. Then the mischief game started. Most of these people ganged up and pushed me away because they want to make name for themselves. I say so because that was what happened. Now, many signs of warning, let me just fast forward everything. Many warning signs keep coming to me in the past. And I keep announcing to the nation that was even before they did the first, the Thanksgiving service. When they did it wrongly because the instruction they never had all. And before they did it, I came out to speak about it that no, these men don't have the whole information. There is that way that God wants things to be done. That it is not a service to be held for people to pray and thank God. That was not what the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service is about. At this time is concerned. But that there are things that the Lord instructed that need to be done for the resetting of the foundation of the nation, because there are a lot of spiritual wrong things that are gone on, sacrifices are gone on, the blood of people are speaking against the nation. And I'm supposed to deliver that message to the president, so that the president will pick it up, so that on the day that the first National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service is supposed to be done, and to your information, it's supposed to be done first of all, in January, not the July that we did it. So every instruction in the covenant seal was being broken again by the president without knowing. So I was doing everything possible to call the president's attention. But because they were being mischievous, I mean, these men, they did everything possible for me to not to meet the president, including using senior archbishop in this nation. I'm not saying an allegation. That is the truth. Before you confuse, many of you confuse yourself and say, hey, these are papas, so be careful what you say about them. Excuse me, not as pride. You can call them papas. That is fine. But some of them will not call them that. Not as a disrespect. Let me ask you this simple question. If there's a group of people that you are fighting for something to work, then you choose one person to be a leader among you, and that person is leading. Now, because the person gets fame, he want to come and tell you people who supported them to become whatever they became today, that you should refer them to them as fathers. Is that not the art of bully? I am an old and current generation who help all those people you are calling fathers. Help many of them, their ministries to stand. I'm not boasting. I'm saying this to substantiate a matter that I'm not making noise. I know what I'm talking about. And when I make some references, it is not disrespect, but because it's the truth. And if Ghana will come to the place of glory, truth has to be told. In the effort now to call the president attention that Mr. President, as the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service is concerned, it is not a service like gather, pray, and thank God. That is not it. But that they are divine instruction that you should lead the nation to do. And that was the main reason why you are brought back to lead the nation. And I did remind you that during the time of the campaign that Baumia lost the election, that they were shocked. It was simply because President Mahama lifted his hand, and I knew by what happened later that they did not tell him the whole truth. So President Mahama's presentation is always like he's introducing a National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving service. But that is not it. It is not an idea, a campaign idea that the men, if it's a free anchor, Dr. Callistus Mahama, channeled to the president. It is not a campaign idea. It was an information about the nation, which I delivered to them. That there are things that the president is supposed to do finally for everything to be in shape as the foundation of the nation is concerned. Why? So I simplify it. Why did God brought President Mahama back? It is to use him to reset the foundation of the nation, spiritually and physically. Physically, if you watch my past broadcasts, I talk about what President God is going to achieve through President Mahama and all the things that are happening. We have said it already. So it is just unfolding. That which is lacking is the spiritual reset of the foundation. And that is the most important. Why? So President Mahama coming back, it is not just for developmental project as reset is concerned. The reset, first of all, was to be the spiritual reset of the foundation of the nation. Because if the foundation are not reset as the spirituality of Ghana is concerned, We may be developing physically, but natural disasters will continue to happen and the citizens will continue to suffer. Are you having clarity now? So, when adherence was not done, and the Lord asked me to announce to the nation that, no, you people has done the wrong thing. You are not doing the right thing. The president is not listening to his instructions. Of course, I'll say because he's misled. And when I say he's misled, I'm not insulting the president. It is the truth about the issue of the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service. So, by that misleading, on the day the service was held, what God instructed is not what was done. It wasn't a religious service. It was a ritual service that's supposed to be held, which involves our chiefs, listen very carefully, our past heads of states, which involve the spiritual overlord of Accra. And to your information, he called me because he followed my broadcast. I never knew he was following my broadcast. But as a spiritual overlord, he called me one day and he said, Apostle, I've been following the things you have been saying about the nation. I personally know all the things you are saying. I took step myself, called some of these boys, that's the word he used, of Mahama, and told them the things that need to be done. But when they won the election, they all turned their back. So, well, we thank God. And we pray that the right thing will be done. So listen. Me explaining today is not trying to attack the president or anybody. But is that the right thing need to be done? Because listen. You realize that a lot of information that comes from many prophets are always sounding negative, and those who don't understand spiritual things think that those prophets or these prophets, even including myself, I'm not a prophet, I'm an apostle, that they think that we give doom messages. Why is it that we only see wrong things about the nation? And which I took time to explain that. I did a whole broadcast on that. You can verify that also on my page. But it is because the foundation is still not reset. That is the spiritual foundations of the nation. It's not reset. If the reset is not done, please listen, fellow Ghanaians, men of God, politicians, our beloved President John Dramani Mahama, that the reset of the foundation of the nation, or the reset of the nation, it is not only about developmental projects. The main thing is to reset the spiritual foundation of the nation. And Mr. President, you have not done that. The gateways of Ghana, the spiritual gateways of Ghana, is still opened for disasters to happen to the nation. When the Lord first mentioned that, and I called the attention of the nation, on that day, if you watch my broadcast, I'm on the post on my page, you saw that I was using my prayer shawl to tie my neck. That was the day that I delivered that message. And that many disasters will happen, and the nation is open to emperors, that there will be many attacks on the nation. Not to say to affect anybody's, to bring sorrow to anybody. That on that day, before the helicopter crash and everything that will happen, those warning was given before. And understand this, please, I don't give prophecies. We mistakenly think every revelational thing is a prophecy. No. In the revelation deliveries of God, we have visions, we have dreams, we have prophecies, we have trances. What I see is vision. When the Lord showed the thing to me and he asked me to announce, I do. So I announced all those things earlier to call the nation's attention, the president's attention, that the foundation is not reset. And still the foundation is not reset. Disasters which supposed to follow on and on was held back because prayers was lifted, asking for the mercies of God. Please listen. We lift our voice to God and say, God, have mercy. Listen. And so I continue to pursue the matter so that the right thing will be done, because the message of God does not cancel his covenant instructions. Example, that was when in the days of Saul, when God said, go, annihilate everything, don't bring out anything. When Saul disobeyed, God rejected him. Listen. And when I said the last time that this is the warning of God, that to the 1st of December, if that which need to be done at the spiritual reset of the foundation is not done, Ichabod, the glory of God will depart from the presidency of Mahama or the president of presidents of Mahama. I'm not talking against anybody. I am just delivering what is already there. And by divine instruction, I brought it out again. I played a role for President Mahama to obey the divine instruction of God. The divine instruction that made him win the election, it did not come from any archbishop or anybody. It came from me. So why will I come and fight that which God have already said? The first part is for his obedience to win. He has won. The second part is the reset, which is not done. It's an assignment. I must make sure it is done because it's an assignment given me. I am using my social media platform because there is a continuous mischievous act to prevent me from meeting the president. I am not casting allegation. That is what is happening. Including senior archbishops in this nation who are contributing. It is not hearsay. I know, I'm told by the men who are supposed to take me to the president. One senior archbishop called him and told him that he should submit me to him for him to scan me. Interesting. How men want to play God. For him to scan me before he will allow me to meet the president. So if many of you who don't have understanding of what is going on, and you think that why don't I go to the president and come on social media? Trust me, I have an assignment and I need to fulfill my assignment. If I have triumphed physically in respect in doing so, and men are gathered and want to be mischievous as they did. You remember when Apostle Paul was supposed to meet in Agrippa? Including 40 people planned to execute him so that you not meet King Agrippa. Most of you who don't understand the Bible, you want to quote Bibles. Sunday school teachers who are wear colors. That you stand on your pulpit, you want to preach things you don't have understanding about. So these men has mischievously have made up their mind that they are going to make sure that I will not meet the president, both physically and spiritually. And since it's an assignment for the nation, and to make sure that I stand for President Mahama also to do the right thing for our nation to come to that place of glory, that no Ghanaians should lose their life again, that disaster should not happen to this nation again, I will also not be silent if God instructs me to speak. Many of you know for a long time I stopped speaking about this matter until last time the Lord asked me to come and talk about it again. So please, I am not trying to disrespect the president or not honor him by broadcasting on social media. This is the only way I have to do what I need to do. Because physically, the men around there have intentionally and schemed to make sure that I don't meet the president. You don't know how many people have made the effort for me to meet the president. And these people keep on doing opposition. This is the only way I can. By God's divine intervention, because he sent me. That when a president chance on the information, an opportunity is given me, I will hand over everything. So that Ghana, our foundation will be reset. That the glory we need to experience, will experience it. What incites me and my heart get broken and I'm so irritated and sound this way is that you those who are insulting me, I don't care, but you don't know the kind of things that are happening in the realms, the kind of disasters and things that are forcing on the gate of Ghana. You have no idea. You have no idea. You have no idea. In the gateways of the heaven and nations, there are individuals who guide different gates concerning nations. Some are given opportunity to have information about all. Some only guide one part. And some are given the instruction to deal with some major factors. To some of us, our watchmanship is to make sure when disasters are coming to the nation, we announce it. So that the nation will rise up and do the right thing. So please, listen. I am not trying to be on social media and create attention. I don't need anybody's attention. I need you to give attention to the message. That Ghana, our foundation is not reset. That President Mahama won power because of he owning up to fulfill the covenant of God. And that covenant is in two parts. He has fulfilled the first side, that is confessing that he will restore the National Prayer and Thanksgiving service. In addition, the things that are supposed to be done on that day has not been done because he has been misled and misinformed. So the other part has not been done. What is confusing many of you, including those men of God, is that if indeed it is true, why they are saying it, they are saying that, oh, the president is bringing new ideas, and so Ghana is moving forward, so we should push the president to do the right, to develop the nation. Yes, the nation will be fully developed when the two things are done. If the first, which is the reset of the foundation, is not done, the effort that the president is making, there are things that will bring pain, afflictions, and things that will not make us enjoy. Just like, you remember the days of COVID? So please, I'm not being a prophet of doom. I'm not prophesying. I'm delivering messages that I know I started. And then you be completed by the president. I'm not seeking the attention of the president. No. I'm calling the attention of the president that which brought him to power, he has not fully done it. So it needs to be done. So you, the NDC boys and men who think that the right thing you are doing is coming, attacking and insulting me, you are doing yourself disfavor. You are not attacking me. You are attacking your own president. Because if the right thing is not done the way it's supposed to be done, it is not my wish and desire that the disaster and the things that the Lord said it's going to open against the nation because our foundation is still porous, it should happen. No. We announce it because so that we'll be aware and do the right thing. So I'm not prophesying that Ghana, something should happen to Ghana because I don't give prophecies. Good afternoon, Grace Glory. I am just relating to you through my medium, Jono TV broadcast, because the physical way, the men of mischief, spiritually and physically, are doing everything possible. We can prevent all the disasters that are in the realm from manifesting. The only way we can do it is for the president to follow the right instruction of the reset of the foundation of the nation, i.e. with the covenant seal, the national prayer and thanksgiving service. The service is meant for certain things to be done on that day. It was tried, misinformation to the president. So the right things that are supposed to be, that are not put in on air, is supposed to be, I supposed to deliver to the message, to the president. And it's supposed to be held every quarter as a continuous thing. But the first of it all, there are things that need to be done for the resetting to take place. That is what is not done. So, by quarters, December is the next. And disasters that are in the realm to happen against the nation. From next year, Ghana, you won't hear good news about your nation. You can insult me. I don't care. You can call me names. I don't care. We are all building the nation and we want Ghana to stand. It is like physically our ministries that are guarding our borders. And they see disaster coming or other nations want to troop on the nation. And they give intelligence report to Ministry of Interior. And the Ministry of Interior come and hold a press conference. And was telling us Ghanaians that we should be very careful. The way we conduct ourselves, we should be alert. Then you people get angry against the military. That why is it that they are coming to tell us that disaster is coming? They should keep quiet. Why did they mean evil for Ghana? You see? Papa Chino, I don't know whether you are just joining me because you are repeating things I've said already. So I am doing my job. Since physically they have teamed up and want to prevent me because, listen, they know that they deceive the president. And they know that when the president meets me, and I told him everything, most of them, their head will roll. That's why they are doing everything possible not to meet the president. That is it. So for their selfish interest, including the men of God who are doing that, that's why they are doing everything possible. David Zo, thank you so much. We have to hit the street. Yes, we need to do that. Because we are not doing this for Apostle Chris. No, it's our nation. It's our nation. Let me put this on board for you to know what we are doing behind the scene. Other men of God are doing their things. Yes, I'm not claiming anything. No matter what any man of God does, no matter the prayer we lift, it won't stop anything. Because the instruction is instruction, covenant is covenant. Many prayers does not stop. When the glory of God departed from Saul, Samuel was seeking the face of God for Saul. God said, forget about Samuel. What will grieve me that the president will not rise to do the right thing for December to come. That what happened to Samuel, what happened to Saul will happen to him. Ichabod, the glory is departed. I don't care what you think or feel. You, the men of God, who are very gullible, instead of listening to the voice of God and go to God and plead for the nation so that we see how the president can do the right thing for our nation to come to the place of glory. The out of your naivety, you rather want to come and insult me. You are a disgrace and a shame to the work of God. Our leaders are destroying our beloved Ghana. Yeah. Let me crown it all. Listen, fellow Ghanaians, there have been physical efforts and men keep fighting to make sure that Ghana will not come to the place of glory it's supposed to be. And Ghana can come to the place of glory in fullness when our foundations are well restored. And that is not done yet. President need to do that. The right thing to do is not in the hand of anybody. Let me mention this as I crown everything up. You see, most of them are going to churches and giving thanks and mentioning names, and by the grace of God, and I don't care, but I need to mention it. Even I, which these men know for a fact that the covenant seal and vow that made Mahama won the election was by me. They know. You know what? They send people to call me to find out where my church is because they want to come and visit the church. And I told them from the beginning, for 35 good years, I am not a church apostle. I'm a missionary. I am a missionary. And so they were thinking that because I don't have a church, a church building, for them to get vote. So they lay me aside. And they are wasting time going on all these prophets. I'm not calling them their false prophets. I'm talking about in context what I'm talking about. In context of what I'm talking about. Forget about, you see, I heard some of the prophets that I respect a lot because we are colleagues, that you hear the noise making that they did directions and that's why Mahama win the election. Oh, Mahama did not win any election because somebody did the direction. Because you see, Dr. Baumia, the kind of spiritual works that was done for him to win the election that he lost, even his own prophet, they could not understand. Because indeed, they were so bold and they know by all the things they did, they know Dr. Baumia will win the election. Until I came out to continue to tell them that no, you will lose pot all. Because there is a covenant over the nation, and that is why God brought Mahama back. It is not about winning the election just like that. It's about a covenant over the nation. And everything I've said, please, you can verify them all. It's on my page. It's not a story. Let me sum it up. Upon all the explanation I've given, what exactly am I saying? In summary, President Mahama did not win the election merely because of campaign. He won the election because there was a covenant over the nation that need to be restored. And God asked him to promise before he came to power. He did make a promise that when he came, in coming, he was misled. Everything that was done at the National Prayer and Thanksgiving service in July was wrong, because that was not the instruction. Because I was the one who delivered the message and letting them know that what need to be done, I need to forward that information to the president. They signed me out, and I'm not speaking out of pain. I'm speaking because Ghana need to be done right for our nation to come to the place of glory. That this man keep stopping and putting all kinds of impediment in my way, not to meet the president, and deliver to him the right thing that's supposed to be done. And that the restoration or the reset of the nation was in two ways, physically and spiritually. The foundation of the nation, because a lot has gone on wrongly. On the day of the service, those things are supposed to be done, which involve a lot of people that I will not mention. That has not been done. And even the organizing of the service was not annually. By the covenant, it was supposed to be held quarterly as a continuous service, not as just a church service, but it is an activator. It is an activator that when it is held, it activates God's grace over the nation. It is not the act of thanksgiving, just like the act of thanksgiving as thanksgiving. No. But it is a covenant service of activation. I hope you understand what we are talking about. It's a covenant service of activation. It's not that there should be just a day of thanksgiving. No. So, the first effort, wrong, is not done according to what God has to be done. Why is it that the foundation needs to be done properly? Why is it that this needs to be done properly? It is because our foundation is open to disaster. Please listen. Prayers are going on and holding things, but it cannot hold forever, because that which is supposed to do the sealing is the covenant enactment that's supposed to be done. That is the instruction. It is not you just pray. No. So until that covenant is done, the security, the divine security that the nation is supposed to experience, and the glory and the way it's supposed to manifest, we will not experience it. And Ghana is still vulnerable in that. So until it is done, our vulnerability will continue. Our vulnerability will continue. And the enemy will continue to have a way to attack us. So if I'm live today in giving explanation about the 1st December, that is the deadline for the president to do the right thing, it is not just a warning to the president. It's a warning instruction that God gave me. I'm a deliverer, and I just gave and delivered the message. It is not a threat to the president, but it is to restore the foundation of the nation, so that that which is coming, the disasters that will flow in after this year, will not experience it. And I know many of you have heard prophets, many prophets Ghana, outside Ghana, who have been saying that Ghana should pray, there is a disaster, there is this, there is that, there is that. Please, it's not a prophecy against the nation. It is that which is cooking in the realms. And God is being gracious to us, so that our president will lead us to do what's supposed to be done first of all from the beginning. That the president was misled and we did not do it. How should we sound for people to understand this and the presidency to understand this? Do I sound like I'm looking for attention? Hello? Do I sound like I'm looking for an attention? The things I am saying, is it not true? Is it not happening? Didn't they host the National Prayer and Thanksgiving service?
They did. And it did not come from anybody. It came from me. So if I would deliver the message, I'm still telling you that what they did is wrong. They misled the president. What is there that means that I'm seeking attention? For what? And it's so strange that when you say this, gullible Ghanaians and gullible men of God still saying that don't mind him seeking attention. Can we be this gullible? Can we be this gullible? That's something you did. The one who bear the message is telling you that. The people who he delivered the message to, who came announcing to you, and you follow a certain step, that was not what was sent. That the right thing is supposed to be done in this way, so that at the end of the day, that which is supposed to be achieved for the nation and the stability of the nation, then you are sitting down saying that he's looking for attention. What kind of gullibility is that? What kind of naivety is that? And instead of listening, you are rather gallivanting on churches and calling bishops and bishops. Instead of simply listening to instruction and just do what the Lord said we should do. What is the problem? I ask.
The problem is simple. It is because the resetting of the foundation of the nation is not just a physical thing. That the spirituality of Ghana, the spiritual foundations of Ghana, when it's set well, there will not be any way that any force, any spirit, any projection can work against our nation ever. That when it's set well, after President Mahama is used to do the resetting, anybody that sit on the seat of government, Ghana, it is only glory, and we'll move forward, we'll move forward, we'll move forward, we'll move forward. And I said it in my earlier broadcast, that when we say Ghana is a gateway, it is not just an acronym, it is the spiritual truth. And it's just a simple thing we are supposed to do. But because the forces who want to take advantage of our nation knows the influence is going on. My fellow Ghanaians, it is about time for you and I to rise up so that we can push our president that the right thing needs to be done, because the reset of the foundation of the nation, it is not only about developmental project. The spiritual will make the physical better and sounding. Let me crown by saying this. Many of you who gullibly keep on saying that Japan, China, and those people, is there anything, are they doing a thanksgiving or prayer? That's why they are developing. You keep speaking ignorantly. You keep speaking ignorantly and thinking you are speaking wisdom. What kind of research have you done about the spirituality of Japan? What kind of research have you done about the spirituality of the nations that are doing well? I ask you, go and do it. Then you zip your mouth. When we are talking, saying serious things, then you with your gullibility, you come out and be spitting all these kind of unreasonable things. Do you know how spiritual committed China is? They are very committed to their spirituality. The Arabian or Gulf regions, do you know how committed they are to their spiritualities? You have no idea. But out of gullibility and lack of knowledge, we are talking about something serious, so that our nation also come to the place of glory, you make these flimsy analysis and contributions. No nation is alike.
each nation and how their lives and their dealings is to be. Yes, Ghana is not a Christian nation, but 70 to 75% of Ghanaians are professing to be Christians. So think about it. Number two, no matter the higher percentage of Christians in Ghana, it will not reset the foundation of Ghana, because the foundation of Ghana is a traditional land. It's not a Christian nation. Listen. The reset of the foundation of Ghana, it has nothing to do with the Christian religion. Because of course, Christianity is not a religion. The land of Ghana, the seat of government, is the seat and the land of tradition. So there are traditional errors that has gone on. They are all part of the reset that's supposed to be done. I won't put it on air. When all these things are done, will be reset. And nations whose spiritual foundation is not stand fixed never progresses. I believe now you understand why we say the things we say. I am not against President Mahama. I am for President Mahama because it is through this mouth that spoke, laid down my life to do every action as a man of God. Before, respectfully, Prophet Osu Bempa, Naja Gacy, these people come speaking. I finished doing the work. I stake out my neck and they know. Callistus Mahama knows. If it's spirit, they know. I did all this job. Before these people came making noise. So I will not stand anywhere to kick against the government of Mahama. No. But just that the right thing that's supposed to be done, that men are standing on the way, that is what I'm talking about. And the president to take this thing serious and quickly do something. If not, I am not warning the president. I'm just telling you what is there to happen. If you still want to misunderstand, continue to misunderstand it. But I'm just telling you the truth. That by December, by the close of December, 1st December, the close of December, if we don't do the reset, reorganize the national prayer and thanksgiving so that the things that need to be done is done. Next year, you will not hear good things. You see, there is one problem about many of us Ghanaians. It's like we like using our mouth than using our brain. I'm not insulting anybody, but that is a fact. You'll be saying, explaining things like this, but people will still be repeating things that you have already explained. Please, if you want to encounter it, if there is, you want further explanation, all the things I've said, I've already done broadcasts on it many times. So I will encourage you, those who are on TikTok, please, you can go back to my bio. Most of the videos are there. Please, you can watch it again. All the informations are there already. And if you want to watch full broadcast, then you go to our page on YouTube and Facebook, Jono TV broadcast. You can get all the information over there. Information on during the time of President Akufo-Addo, all the prophecies, all the instructions, even the national prayer and thanksgiving, all those things. We said it even those times, but they never listened. During the same thing happened. That most of the leaders around Akufo-Addo, we thought, I went to Akufo-Addo's office those times, met Gabi Ochre, all those people, hand over information to them, but they never listened. People who are friends to Akufo-Addo's wife, I know them. We did everything possible to get to them. I went to Akufo-Addo's house in Nima. Some of his security personnel there are my classmates. I went there, hand over a document to them about these issues I'm talking about today. They never listen. So the mess that happened during Akufo-Addo time is because they also did not listen. So if you think that is today we are making noise, please carry your gullibility somewhere. We took all those steps during the time of Akufo-Addo. I mentioned that earlier. The way Kenneth Oliata is going to mess up, we mention it. The things that will be done because the covenant is not restored. And the things that are going to follow, we mention it. And all happened. So please, it's not today we are talking. Oh. We have been dealing with this matter not today, but it's just our leaders are not listening. Any President Mahama, by the grace of God, God has brought you back. And God brought you back because of these things. Mr. President, if this is not done, it doesn't matter the developmental projects that will happen. You have failed. Because it's two things the Lord wants you to do. God will want to use you to do as Ghana is concerned. Mr. President, I know now you have received the information, but I don't know the reason why you have been sluggish in response. I don't know why. But my prayer is that you respond so that we do the right thing. So that the reason why God brought you back to power will be fulfilled in fullness. Mr. President, with all humility, again, I am humbly telling you, and I'm not using social media because I want to use social media. I'm using it because that's the only platform I can use for now. Because physically, the men around you are making sure, including certain archbishops in this nation, they are making sure I don't reach you. It's not an allegation. That is what is going on. That, Mr. President, I humbly call your attention to the fact that you are walking in disobedience without knowing. That the reason why God brought you back, as the reset of Ghana is concerned, it is both spiritual and physical. The spiritual is connected to the national prayer and thanksgiving service. That which God instructed. Please, that is not what was told you. What was told you, the whole information was with me. I share some with your people. They are supposed to arrange for me to meet you, but they never did it. After you won the election, they decided to mafia me out, and they succeeded by doing that. So, Mr. President, if you hear me, please don't take an offense that I'm using my platform to talk about this. I am doing this for your own good and for your own sake, but above all, for the sake of our nation, Ghana. So that the reset God wants to reset this nation can be done in a proper way. So that before you leave power, the good name that the Lord wants to give you, it will happen in fullness. May God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great and strong. God bless you so much for making the time to listen to me. I'm very grateful. All of you who commented, thank you. God bless you so much for all the comments. I did not pay attention to most of the comment because my focus is to deliver the message. So respectfully, if you send a comment and I did not read it, it is not because I do not want to read your comments, but it is because I wanted to deliver the message. And God bless you so much for making time to join me today. God willing, if God give me a message and again to come and speak, I will. I only do this when God asks me to. We stop now about our main broadcast. We stop for some time now because we're doing some work at the studios, and we are almost done. So when we are done, we'll be back and we'll resume our live broadcast.
God bless you so much for making time to join me. Our broadcast, we did certain changes. So let me announce the changes that we did. Now, formally, from Mondays to Friday, we do the broadcast Arena of Manifestation. It's a prayer session, morning and evening. But by few investigations and few reasonable people who reach out to me and praying through it, I thought is the right thing to do. That many of them keep saying that the I teach on is very important. So why don't I focus also on the teaching side and less on the prayer side? So we decided that, okay, so from Mondays, these are the changes that took place. From Monday to Thursday, we'll have only one session, that is in the evenings. At 6 p.m. GMT. And I wanted to term it because it's one of our old programs. I wanted to do the refute. But there was a podcast I was doing before, that is the Classroom of Life. So from Monday to Friday to Thursday, it will be the Classroom of Life. In that broadcast, I teach on human behavior, our relationship with God, how to deal with things in life challenges and all those things, how to deal with them. Because most of the challenges we face, even as Christians and men of God, is how to deal with things. We have knowledge, we have understanding in a lot of things, but how to deal with issues is our problem. So when we find ourselves in difficult situations, we don't know how to get out of it. And it's burying most of us in sorrow, in pain, in many ways. So what I decided to do is that from Monday to Thursday, we'll be doing the Classroom of Life. So we'll be touching on substantial issues, whether psychological issues, spiritual issues. It's everything that have to do with life we'll be touching on. Then Friday will be the Arena of Manifestation, which is be our prayer. So Fridays will be 2 sessions, morning and evening, as we usually do. 6 p.m. GMT, 6 a.m. GMT, and 6 p.m. GMT. Those are the changes. Then Saturday, we have relationship.com that I teach on issues of relationship across business and etc. Then on Sunday, I do that which called Refute or My Spirituality, which I preach predominantly on Christian doctrines. So these are the changes. So when we resume, those are the changes that we'll be implementing. So from Monday to Thursday, you don't see us doing prayer. It's purely on teachings, and sometimes we pray a little. And in conclusion, when you see media, we did a survey, especially on TikTok. We realized that, oh, okay, there are a lot of prayer programs that goes on TikTok. I was so amazed. Plenty. So I realized that, no, then let me just leave the prayer for those people and do the teachings. Then Friday, we do one major prayer session so that we can build ourselves properly. So those are the changes that was going to take place. And I, the host, by the grace of God, we have rich experience both in ministry and life. So most of our followers call me the practical apostle. And I love that name. So please, thank you so much for making time to join us. Before we resume, please, if you have any question or anything you want to find out, please, that is our number on the screen. 0243-734-025. And we want sponsorship, those who can sponsor us. And we stream on 3 different platforms at a time: Facebook, YouTube, and also TikTok. So each day you can watch us on Facebook, you can watch us on TikTok, you can watch us on YouTube. The same handle, G1O TV Broadcast. G1O TV Broadcast. God bless you so much for making the time to listen to me. Please go to my bio respectfully. Most of the things I spoke about today, many of them, the short videos are on my bio on TikTok. Please kindly go there. Take those old videos and share it. Let's do everything to get to the president so that we can beat immigration. I mean that those people who have made themselves amaga and they are stopping, that the grace of God will help us to reach there. Thank you so much. And God bless you for making time to join me. Aquat Studios, thank you for joining me today. My half game, thank you for joining. Grace Glory, Michelle, thank you. Every one of you that joined me this morning, I so appreciate you. God bless you. Let's pray. Father, I pray as I've delivered your message, I ask, oh God, You are the God who knows all things. I ask that give confirmation to your people that they know I am not lying, that I'm speaking your truth. Visit them by dreams, visions. Let them have an encounter of truth concerning the nation and the message you keep delivering through me, so that you can save your nation and save us also. That glory we shall experience in fullness. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. May whatever you do today be prosperous and glorious. And may God deliver you from any evil and every mischief of the enemy. Shalom, peace, and love unto you. Till we meet again. My name remains Apostle Chris Levi Jono. Bye.
Ghana, land of freedom, freedom. Ghana, we now have freedom. Toils of the brave and the sweat of their labor. Toils of the brave which has brought results. Toils of the brave and the sweat of their labor. Toils of the brave which has brought results. Everybody! Toils of the brave and the sweat of their labor.